Maayan Shavit's cousin, 40-year-old Carmel Gat, was abducted by Hamas on October 7th and was murdered in a Hamas tunnel in Rafah last month. Gat's mother, Kinneret, was also killed in the attack on Kibbutz Be'eri. Maayan joins us live now to talk about what her family has been through the past year. Thank you so much for coming in studio. And I know you've done a lot of media over the last year, and I'm wondering, where do you find the strength to come out, to come to news stations like CP24 and to talk about something that is so traumatic to you and your family?
Thank you for having me. The strength, we are the voices of the people that can't be heard. If we will not raise our voice, who would? They are in tunnels or somewhere in houses that we don't know where they are, and they cannot be heard. But they are there, they are people, it's not just a number. 101 is not just a number. Every one of them is a soul. And that's why I keep raising my voice. Even if my story have ended as tragically as it has, you have to continue and fight until everybody will be home.
I know you were, you had so much hope. I listened to all of your interviews, and one thing that makes the loss of your cousin so much more tragic is that they were so close to coming home. And for anyone who doesn't know, Carmel was one of the 6 hostages that were executed with a bullet to the head by Hamas, as Hamas found out that the Israelis and the IDF were slowly moving in on them. I can't imagine how you reconciled that moment, knowing that your cousin was, you know, very close to being rescued.
I'm still at the anger stage, I think, or the disbelief. Carmel was supposed to be home on several occasions, several deals that was broken or did not happen. And to know that we fought not on if she's coming home, but when she's coming home, and then suddenly it was just chopped. That's what killed us the most. It's the way it happened.
She was an occupational therapist, and I've read the stories and I've heard the stories of some of the other hostages who talked about how she was doing yoga.
Yoga master. She did yoga with some of the hostages that with her. She gave them food. She did mindfulness. She made diary with them, and she protected them with their body, actually.
What does that tell you about her character, that in such a time of darkness and just the horrific conditions, that she wanted to make sure other people were feeling mindful and feeling healthy and keeping their minds strong and their hearts even stronger?
She chose in life. She knew that even though the body is captive, the mind is not, the soul is not, and it's up to you to decide what you're doing with it. And she chose life, and she has had the strength. You know, she is a strong person. Kinneret was a strong person. You could have seen it in the last video that shown her taking her ton out to the terrorist. Those are the women in my family. This is who we are, and this is the Jewish people. We have the strength to continue and to choose life and to cherish life.
There was a lot of these iconic moments that came out after October 7th. The one you're talking about, Carmel's mother, Kinneret, that just recently came out.
Yes.
The amount of strength in that walk, her head held high as she's surrounded by terrorists who shortly after murdered her.
Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you saw that video?
In a way, I wasn't surprised. That's Kinneret. First of all, she hated the camera. So if somebody wanted to really take a picture of her, she would tell them that I don't like it. And in that situation, she walked in her house. It was her home, not theirs. And that was what she wanted to tell them in her last moments. And
she looked straight into the camera of a terrorist,
yeah, with
a bold stare. And she stuck her tongue out.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Where did that strength, where do you think she has that?
From her mother.
Yeah.
May she rest in peace, my grandmother. That's again, those are the women. My mom is the same, and this is our home. We will fight for it. She was born and raised, we all were born and raised in Israel, in kibbutzes. And, you know, our grandparents fought in the war, in any wars, and we have to continue preserve our life, and we are proud people.
How is the rest of your family marking today back home?
They have a family, all the family, the captive family, the hostage families, they had, I think it's already evening there. So they had commemoration for it. But, you know, we have to continue the fight, even though this day is to remind us it's been 365 days, 1 year, that it shouldn't have been more than 2 days, not even 1 day, but 2 days later it should have been ended and everybody should have been home. And yet, a year later, we still have 101 Israelis captive, hostages in darkness by Hamas terrorists.
What are your thoughts on many of the protests and things that are being echoed throughout these protests? How do those words impact you?
A protest of which side?
Of the pro-Palestinian and the pro-Hamas side?
I'm a strong believer that, first of all, live and let live. Second of all, you have your right to say your opinion. But if you want to say something, especially if you're saying it out loud, check the facts. Don't just scream a slogan just because it sounds nice in your ear. You need to check what it means, what it says, and are you a true believer in the content of what it says. It doesn't hurt me because I know that most of it's untrue. There is no merit to it and there is no history to it. So check before you say.
Maayan, we appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate your time.